All right, Maddie, what's it going to give me?
2x squared plus 11x plus 12.
Okay. 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. Okay. Now, we're going to go backwards. We're going to go backwards. And so just pay attention here. So what if I give you 2x squared? Hold on here. 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. Can anybody give me two binomials that multiply together to give me that? We're going to factor it. What would be the answer? Reese?
2x plus 3 and x plus 4.
2x plus 3 and x plus 4. This is what we want to come up with. Well, here's what I want you to notice. Here's the issue. You got a number in front. People will say 3 times 4 is 12, but is 3 plus 4 11? No. It's that little piece is not going to work for if there's a number in front of the x squared. Okay, they still have to multiply to get 12. That will not change, but they will not necessarily add to the middle term. They only add to the middle term if there is no number in front of x squared. This would be x plus 4 times x plus 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 plus 2 is 6. So we're going to have to do some trial and error to figure this out. Okay? So right here, whatever these values are, in this case here, these two have to add up to C. So let me just make this whatever here. Hold on here. 2x plus 3 and x, and I'll make that a 1x. 1x plus 4. 2x times 1 has to give me 2x squared. These two here, 2x times 4 is 8x. 3 times x is 3x. Those are going to have to add up to the middle term when we're done. When we're done foiling. The two in the middle have to add up to that. And then the last two multiply to the last one. That's going to be the case. So we're going to kind of have to go backwards. All right, we're going to do one just by what we call trial and error. Guess and check. So this is that number one on your thing. It says 2x squared plus 17x plus 21. So underneath it, put parentheses. All right, here's what's going to happen. These first two have to multiply to give me 2x squared. What could those be? You're limited here. Zach?
2x and x.
2x and x. Okay, agree with that. 2x and x. These last two always have to multiply together to give me 21. Positive 21. Okay, now, don't write anything down yet. Okay, so just leave it. We're going to try this first. What are two numbers that multiply to get 21?
7 times 7.
Which one do you want to put first, 7 or the 3?
3.
He says the 3. Now, they both have to be positive plus 7. All right. Here's the deal. You could have written, and don't write anything down yet. He could have put the 7 first and the 3 second. Those are two different answers. One of them is right and one of them is wrong. How do we tell which one's right and how do we tell which one's wrong? You actually got to FOIL it together to see if you get the middle. Okay, so we actually got to go through the work. So what's 2x times x? That is 2x squared. What is 2x times 7? 14x. What's 3 times x? 3x. And what's 3 times 7? What do we get when we add the two middle terms together? You get 17x. So what does that tell me? That's the right answer. Now, how do I know the other one's wrong? Let me show you that it's wrong. 2x times x is 2x squared. What's 2x times 3? 6x. What's 7 times x? 7x. And what's 7 times 3? And what do we get when we add those two middle terms together? Hold on. 13x. Okay, which one did we want? We wanted 17. So there's your right answer. So write that one down. 2x plus 3 times x plus 7. Okay, that's your answer. That's factored. Okay. How do we check it? We FOIL it back to see if we get the original problem. Now, that will work, but sometimes that's not easy. Some people don't like doing it because there's an element of just trying numbers to see whether it works. Okay? Right. So without, okay, for this second one, don't anybody write anything down. Somebody give me something to try, and we'll see if it's right. Okay, how would I do this one? Some of you will be pretty good. Don't write anything down because I'm gonna show you something else. Zach?
3x and then x.
Okay.
And then -4 and then +2.
All right, so says this. How would I test it to see if it's right? Now, here's one key thing. Does 3x times x equal 3x squared? Check. Works. Does -4 times 2 equals -8? Check. Those two are right. I don't know if the middle term is right. How do I figure out whether the middle term is right? What do I got to do? I got to FOIL it. So 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 2 is positive 6x. -4 times x. And then -4 times 2 is, what do I get then when I add those together? Was he right?
No.
He was close, but he wasn't right. Anybody know how you could fix his answer?
2 plus 4 minus 2.
Do +4 - 2. All right. Now, Zach right now has a pretty good understanding. He might be able to do some of this by trial and error. I'm going to give you a method that will work so that you are not just guessing. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. Right over there, it tells us what to do, and I'm going to follow those steps. So now you need to write down. Now we're talking about A, C, and B. This is for any trinomial that looks like this. A is the number in front of the x squared. B is the number in front of the x. And C is the constant at the end. All right, so we're going to go through this. So step 1 says multiply A and C. That means I'm going to take 3 times -8, include the sign. I'm going to get -24. Okay. That's step 1. All right, now this number, step 2, is kind of what we did on Thursday. And this is real important. It says find two numbers multiplied together that equal A times C and added together equal B. Well, what is my A times C in this case? -24. So I use the numbers P and Q. So I need two numbers that multiply. Let me just do this. They multiply to equal -24. And what do they add together to get? B, what is my B? My B is -2. So they add together to equal -2. You're going to have to come up with those two numbers. You're going to have to come up with those two numbers. If you need to, you're going to do a chart. Who can tell me two numbers that multiply to -24, add together to get -2? All right, take a second. Ellie?
Would it be -6 plus 4?
So she says -6 and 4, +4. What's -6 times 4? -24. What's -6 plus 4? -2.
-2, sorry.
You actually gave me the right numbers. Those are the two numbers. All right, now here's what we do. Start with your original problem. 3x squared minus 2x minus 8. What does it tell me? Step 3 tell me to do. Replace what? B with the two numbers and x. So here's what this means. We're going to take -2 out, and I'm going to rewrite it as -6x plus 4x minus 8. because negative 6 plus 4 gives me negative 2. I'm not changing the value of the problem. I'm just changing how it looks like, how it looks. And now what does the last step tell me to do? Factor by what? Grouping, which is what Mr. Parker did on that very last example. So this is, remember, groupings. You got 4 terms. Group the first 2 and the last 2. What's my GCF for the first 2? Ryan, what's my GCF for the first 2?
Would it be 3
3, what else?
x squared?
Do they both have an x squared?
Oh no, just x.
So 3x. Anytime the GCF, give me both. What's the GCF for the second 2?
4x.
Does that one have an x?
Wait, no, just 4.
Just 4. Okay, so this goes out in front. It's 3x. 3x squared divided by 3x is x. Negative 6x divided by 3x, what's that give me? Minus 2. Plus 4. Make sure you put a plus 4 there. 4x divided by 4 is x. Negative 8 divided by 4 is minus 2. Do they both have the same group? Jeff?
Yeah.
Yep, so you remember how we write the answer? No? Maya? Remember? Juan?
It'd be x minus 2 and then 3x plus 4.
Take the group that they have in common. You put that in front. And then whatever's in front of those 2 go in the second set of parentheses. Okay? There we go. That's my answer. Okay? That's my answer. How can I test to see if it's right? Foil it back together, see if you get the original. All right, now the deal is you got some multi-steps here. We're going to have to do a couple of them to make this sink in a little bit. Some of you will be able to kind of figure this out by trial and error. Most of you are going to need to do this method. So I'm going to keep doing this method. All right, flip it over on the back. Adam, did you not write any of that down? How am I giving you? All right, ask every time. Okay. All right, look at that last one. Think about the steps we just did. You might need to go back and forth. 3x squared minus 16x plus 16. Okay. Lindsay, what's my first step? What did it tell me to do?
Multiply A times C.
And what's A and C in this case? What do you think?
16 negative 16x.
Ax squared plus bx plus c. Take a look. You just said A and C, right? Which one would be the A?
3x.
Just the 3.
3.
And what's the C?
16.
16. All right, everybody take 3 times 16. And what is that, 48? All right, now step 2. What are we looking for? You need to flip it over, flip it over. Darren, what do you think? No. Step 2. Okay, I need 2 numbers that multiply to get what? 2 numbers that multiply to equal 48 and at the same time add to what? Negative 16. So that tells me something about their signs. To multiply to a positive and add to a negative, they both have to be negative. All right, we got to come up with those numbers. What are 2 numbers that multiply to get 48? Without worrying about signs, I'm going to think 1 times 48, 2 times 24. Does 3 go into 48? 16. 4 times what? Anybody got it? 4 times 12. And then 6 times 8. I don't think there's anything else. All right, out of those groups, I don't think they both got to be negative. Anybody figure out what 2 numbers they are? Maddie?
4 and 12.
4 and 12, but I got to make them both what?
Negative.
Negative. So it's going to be negative 4 and negative 12. So here's what I do now. For step 3, I make this 3x squared. I start with this. I take out the negative 16 and I put those two in its spot. So I make it 3x squared minus 4x minus 12x plus 16. Whoops. All right, I just want to stop and wait and just make sure everybody's caught up. Multiply the first and the last. Find two numbers that multiply to get that and add to the middle number still. Now I rewrite and I am going to now group. All right, one big question that comes up. What if somebody wrote negative 12 in here and minus 4 here? Would it still work? Yes. Your work will look a little different, but you'll get the same answer. Now we group. All right, I want everybody just to take a look and think, what would be my GCF for the first two? What would be my GCF for the next two? All right. Diana, what do you think for the GCF for the first two?
Would it be, 1x?
Yep, you don't even need to write the 1. Just put down X. GCF's an X because nothing will go into 3 and a 4. Addie, what about the second two?
Wait, what do you mean?
What do you think the GCF of those two numbers would be? Biggest number that goes into both.
4.
Okay, and if this is a negative, make it negative 4. Good. Okay, so now the X goes out in front. What'll go in the parentheses? Okay, Lucas, what'll go in the parentheses? Maybe I should do it this way. Think of X going into both of those. Okay. What's 3x squared divided by x, Lucas? 3x. What's negative 4x divided by x? Negative 4. Good. Okay, this is a negative 4. Make that a negative 4 next to it. Make sure there's a sign there. Okay. What's negative 12x? Damien, divided by negative 4. Hold on. Negative divided by negative is always. So this should be a 3x. What's 16 divided by negative 4? Minus 4 or negative 4. All right, we're really close now. We're really close. Reese, what do you think my answer would be?
3x minus 4.
Okay, you take the group that they have in common. Very good. That goes out in front, and then whatever is part of it, x minus 4 goes in that second one. All right, we did all of this to factor that original problem. How would I tell whether my final answer is right? By foiling it back together. If I foil it back together, I get the original one, I'm right. Due to time, I'm not going to do that. I want to get at least to one more. Let's take a look at number 6. Let's do number 6 so that you have some time for some room to write. Don't worry about the 7. All right, there's number 6 over here. We're going to follow the same steps. Okay. Carly, you think you tell me what step 1 is?
Multiply 2 times negative 10.
Very good. 2 times negative 10. And that gives us negative 20. All right, Alex, you think you can tell me what step 2 is?
Yeah.
Okay, this is where you got to look back to the front because you're going to have to be able to do this on your own and see what step 2 tells us to do and use that. Okay, be able to do that. Rylan, what do you think step 2 is? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
We want to find two numbers that multiply to get negative 20 and add to get what? The number in front of the x. Well, there's no number there, but there is. What is it? A 1. Anybody give me two numbers that multiply to negative 20, add to 1? Ava.
-2 and 1.
Negative 2 and what?
Oh, sorry, I was gonna throw one in there.
Okay. Gavin?
-4 and 5.
Negative 4, good, and 5. Those are the two numbers. All right, now here's what we do. We take your original problem, and I would write it like this. 2x squared plus x minus 10. We take the x out, and we make it minus 4x plus 5x minus 10. And now we group. Do the first two, do the last two. Find the GCF for both of those. All right, Austin, what do you think the GCF is for 2x squared minus 4x?
X.
X is part of it, but there is a number that'll go into 2 and 4. 2, so it'll be 2x. And I'm going to put it under both of them. 2x and 2x. 5x minus 10. Diana, what's that GCF? Just 5. So now I get 2x. When I divide, I get x minus 4 plus my GCF is 5. When I divide, I get x minus, no, I don't get x minus 4. I screwed up. It should be x minus what? Juan, you're good at catching my mistakes. 2. And then this should be x minus 2. Okay, do I have the same parentheses in both of them? Yep, so Juan, what's my final answer?
X minus 2.
X minus 2, 2x plus 5. Okay, now I'm not going to give you a bunch. 7 through 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just make it 7 through 10. All. That's 4 problems. 7, 8, 9, 10. You got to do them. You got to make it. You got to know if you don't know if you're making mistakes. Okay? You got to know if you're making mistakes or if you're getting them. So 4 problems. If you didn't get yesterday's done, even if you did, you got to make sure you submit it. Okay, make sure it is submitted to get full credit for that. Don't worry about 11 and 12. Did you submit it?
I did spit on one.
Could you do that? Because then it'll pop up and I'll make sure I get it. Okay. Yep.
It's okay. There was one time that my computer was actually miscontact. There was a hole in the script.